Good morning, my dear students. How are you? I hope you all are well. By the grace of Almighty Allah, today here with a lecture, and this is the second part of lecture on simple, complex, and compound. Again, I would like to draw your attention to the change in sentences from simple to complex and compound. First, I would like to start with the points that I gave you some homework in the previous class. Please do those homework. Keep the homework copy ready for your teacher when the situation comes to normal again at RUMC. Show your copies to your teachers, and your teachers will take the homework and give you marks on them. Let's start. This is rule 6 of changing a sentence from simple to complex and compound. The first one, in simple part, we see that it is 2 ... 2. And in complex, we find so ... that plus negative. So here, before negative, I would like to say that there will be a subject and verb, and that verb will take this can or could, and then the negative word not. So you can, in short, say that it is cannot or could not in complex form. To make the sentence compound, we need to replace that so by the word very, and then we should use the word and at the place of the conjunction that. So then it will be a compound one. If we use in that way, let us see an example of this sentence. The first one, some people are too pessimistic to have hope. This sentence is in simple. As we go through the sentence, we can see that here is only one subject, that means some people, and only one verb, that is are. Some of you may have the thoughts that this verb have is another verb, but really it is not acting as a verb here in this sentence. Rather, this is an infinitive which we normally identify as to plus verb. So this verb, to plus verb, I mean this have, to have, isn't acting as a verb here in this sentence. Rather, it is acting as an infinitive, which is after the adjective pessimistic to function as adverb. So to make the sentence a complex one, we need to replace this to by the word so, and this to by the word that. And then we'll need to have the subject, here. So the complex will read like this: some people are so pessimistic, and then this word that. Some people are too pessimistic that they. This they is from the subject of the main sentence. I mean, these some people, the pronoun form of it. So some people are so pessimistic that they. Then, as this sentence is in present tense, we are using here the word can and then not, that they cannot. Some people are so pessimistic that they cannot have hope. That is the complex form of this sentence. To make the sentence compound, on complex sentence, let us replace the word so by the word very, and replace the word that by the word and. So some people are very pessimistic and they cannot have hope. And this becomes the compound form of the sentence. I hope you have understood this point, and it is not very difficult one. Sometimes it may so happen that the main subject of the sentence isn't working. Rather, the main subject, except the main subject, someone else's work to have is in the second part of the sentence. And some examples like this. COVID-19 is too difficult to treat. Here, you guess that as I am saying, sometimes the second part of the sentence will not be the verb, will not have the verb of the subject, which is used in the beginning part of the simple sentence. Rather, COVID-19 is difficult, yes. But can COVID-19 itself treat itself? No. Rather, we, the humans, are to treat COVID-19 disease. So this is thought to be a subject which is not given here. We can say silent subject, or the subject is omitted. So in this case, you'll have to guess the subject. To avoid complexity, we can think of passive voice here in the second part of the sentence to make it complex and compound. So let us make it complex by replacing the word to by the word so. So COVID-19 is so difficult, and then the subject in passive voice, the pronoun of COVID-19 will be the subject. So difficult that it. The pronoun of COVID-19 is it. So difficult that it. Then the modal auxiliary verb can in passive form. So cannot be. COVID-19 is so difficult that it cannot be treated. That is the complex form of the sentence. So now let us try to make it compound. To make it compound, just replace this so by the word very and this that by the word and. So the compound will read like this. COVID-19 is very difficult and it cannot be treated. Here is another example on this structure. At time of insertion, this virus was too pandemic to spare any place. To make this sentence complex, we may need to change these two by the word by using the word so. So it will read like this virus was so pandemic, and then use the conjunction that. So pandemic that, then the subject of this virus is pronoun it. That it. So this virus was so pandemic that it could not. Why am I using could? Because this sentence is in past indefinite tense, so I am avoiding can, and to mean past indefinite tense, I am using could. Was so pandemic that it could not spare any place. That is the complex form. So pandemic that it could not. And the compound form of the sentence will be like this. This virus was a very pandemic and it could not spare any place. That is the compound form of the sentence. Here, rule 6 ends, but I think I should give you some homework on rule 6. So these are the homework for you to be done at home. Prepositions are too difficult for me to learn. This sentence is in simple form. You need to make it complex one and compound. So make it complex and compound by using so ... that and very ... that. The second sentence, coronavirus is too dangerous for us to go without mask. This sentence is in simple form. We need to make it complex and compound. The third sentence, in Japan, such large companies are viewed as simply too big to fail, is in simple form, and I'm asking you to make it complex and compound. If you look at the fourth sentence, you will quickly notice that this sentence is in simple form. He was too nervous to perform well on the stage, and I'm telling you to make this sentence complex and compound. The fifth one, the task was too difficult for them to do without help, is in simple form too, and you need to make this sentence complex and compound. The following one, it was too hot to go out during the day of summer, is in simple form, and you need to make this complex and compound sentence. Now, as you look at the slide I'm showing, you see that rule 7 states that in simple form, there is having plus V3, and in complex, there is after or when, which can be turned into compound by using past perfect plus and plus past indefinite. Uncommonly, it can also be turned into compound sentence by using past indefinite plus and plus past indefinite. So both structures are equally okay, but I think you should use the first one. I mean past perfect plus and plus past indefinite. This one is better than the other one. In complex form, when you use the word after, you have to use past perfect up immediately after the word after, as you are using the word after as conjunction. You can all use both past indefinite tense and past perfect tense with the conjunction when. So there is no point about that. Let us see an example. Having eaten breakfast, he went to college. This sentence is in simple form. We need to make it complex and compound. To make this sentence a complex one, we need to think of the subject first in the first place, where we can find the phrase having eaten breakfast. So to make the to give a subject here, we may take it from the main clause of the sentence, and this subject is he. So he, and then the tense of the main clause of the sentence. So it's in past indefinite tense. So past indefinite tense of having will be had. He had eaten breakfast. That is the clause. He had eaten breakfast. Now use that conjunction after. So after he had eaten breakfast, he went to college. That will be the complex form of the sentence. To make the sentence compound, just drop this conjunction after and use the coordinating conjunction and in the middle of the sentence, separating the two clauses. And it will read like this: he had eaten breakfast and went to college. As in lecture 1, I told you that in the second clause of the compound sentence, if the subject is a repetition of the subject of the first one, then we can certainly drop the subject of from the second clause of the compound sentence. So we can omit this subject here in compound form. So the compound form will read like this: he had eaten breakfast and went to college. This is the alternative form of the simple form in complex by using the word when. As I say that with the word when, both the present indefinite tense and both the past indefinite tense and past perfect tense are equally applicable. So I have given the complex sentence into alternative answers in those two tenses. Let us move on to the practice part of Rule 7. Here is the practice 1 for Rule 7, which is about having clause V3 in the simple form. So just this is in simple form. I'm asking you to make this sentence complex and compound. The second one here, having studied all the chapters, I found the questions so easy. Is in simple sentence, and I'm asking you to make this sentence complex and compound. The third sentence, the patient died after the doctor had arrived, is in complex form, and you need to make this sentence simple and compound. So the fourth one, the train left the station after we had reached there, is in complex form, and all of you are to turn this sentence a simple and a compound one, to simple and compound. The man had learned everything before he got a job, is in complex form, and please make this sentence simple and compound. The next one, the man had been drunk and made an accident, is in complex compound form, and you need to make this a simple and complex sentence. The police had searched for the criminal a lot and then found him. This statement is in compound form, and you are to make this sentence simple and complex. So students, these are the practices on Rule 7. Now let us move on to Rule 8. At rule 8, we can see that in simple form, we can use besides or both ... and. But I think it's commonly besides, which is better than both ... and. So we can say it's besides plus verb plus ing in simple form, and in complex form, it will be while or as well as or just as. I, as a teacher, prefer to use just as in complex form of this rule. And in compound form, the undebatable not only but also is used. There is a debate on complex, which one is better, just as, while, or as well as. You can use any of the three I have shown here, but as a teacher, I am prescribing you to use just as in complex form and besides in simple form of this rule. Let's see an example. Besides using mobile, he uses computer. This sentence is in simple form. So this is the phrase of the simple form, besides using mobile. This phrase, besides using, is to be turned into a clause to make it a complex and compound sentence. So to make it a clause, we need to take the subject from the main clause of the sentence, and here the subject is he. So he, then the verb use, mobile. As this sentence is in present tense, let us use present tense too here in the phrase when we turn it to clause. So he uses mobile. Now use just as to separate these two clauses. Just as he uses mobile, he uses computer. Just as he uses mobile, he uses computer. That is the complex form of the sentence. Or we can use just as in the middle like this. He uses mobile just as he uses computer. So both ways you can write the sentence. Alternatively, if you want to use as well as, the sentence will read like this: he who uses mobile as well as computer, or he who uses mobile uses computer. That can also be quite okay. The compound form of the sentence will be he not only uses mobile but also uses computer. But as a teacher, I'm prescribing you to use this formula for simple. I mean, besides using mobile, he uses computer, and to make it complex, just use this formula with just, and compound is quite okay. Let us move on to the practices of this sentence. The first one of the practices on Rule 8 is in simple form, and I'm asking you to make this sentence complex and compound. The second one, I've got plenty of other things to do besides talking to you. This sentence is in simple form, and you are to make this sentence complex and compound. The third one, he went to the bank besides the store, grocer, and pharmacy. This is in complex. This is in simple form. I am asking you to make it complex and compound. The fourth sentence, besides working as a doctor, he also writes novels in his spare time, is in simple form, and you need to make this statement complex and compound. The fifth sentence, he speaks two other languages besides English. He speaks two languages besides English, is in simple form, and you need to make this complex and compound. The last here, do you play any other sports besides basketball? This statement is in simple form, and please make it complex and compound. As you see, the last one is an interrogative sentence. Don't be scared of an interrogative sentence being found in changing sentence like simple, complex, and compound. Rather, think it quite normal and start changing this sentence. Rule number 9 states that in simple form, there will be verb plus ing plus noun. That means a noun and verb ing. I mean, we normally call a verb ing with a noun, whether the noun is after the verb ing or before the verb ing. We call the verb ing a present participle, which acts as an adjective. So a verb ing can be other than adjective. Say like verb ing can be a gerund, in which the verb ing is a noun, but this rule is based on present participle structure, in which the verb ing acts as a present participle, I mean an adjective. And in complex form, we normally use the subordinating conjunctions who, which, that, or whose. It's quite common to use the conjunction who with humans, with people, and which or that with objects, objects or things. And to make this sentence that has this verb and the structure in simple form, a compound one, we need to use the coordinating conjunction and, which will be followed by a subject, which is the pronoun of the main subject of the sentence. Commonly, this is it, he, she, or they. Let us see an example of the structure. We saw a flying plane. And this statement is in simple form, having the structure verb ing plus noun. So here the flying plane, this flying is the verb ing structure and this plane is the noun here. As we need to make this sentence complex, we can use the conjunction which, because this plane is not any human, rather it is referring to something, some kind of object or things, for which we use the pronoun which or that, which will be the subject of the complex form. So let us see the complex form. We see a plane that was flying, or we see a plane which was flying. Here we do not need any other subject like the compound form. And if we want to make this sentence a compound one, we need to use the conjunction that in place, conjunction and in place of the subordinating conjunction that here. So we saw a plane that, and then the subject for the word plane is it. We saw a plane and it was flying. That is the compound form of the sentence. Let us now move on to the practices of Rule 9. The first one, the old mariner saw a snake swimming around the ship. This sentence is in simple form, and at home you are going to make this a complex and compound sentence. The second one, we saw a bird and it was flying in the sky, is in compound form. And please make this sentence simple and complex. The third of the practices here, they pointed at a crocodile was swimming, that was swimming around the ship, is in complex form. And you are to make this sentence a simple and compound one. The fourth here, COVID-19 is a disease spreading very quickly, is in simple structure, and you need to make it complex and compound. The last one over here, the coronavirus is a special type of virus attacking the lungs, is in simple form, and I'm asking you to make it complex and compound. We are at Rule 10 now, in which we can see that in the simple form, after plus verb plus ing structure is used, whereas in complex form, we normally use the subordinate conjunctions when or after. And to make this sentence compound, we use the conjunction and. Previously, I told you the word when can be used both with past indefinite tense and past perfect tense. So you are free to use either of the two tenses there. It's better to use two past indefinite tenses being joined by the word when. But when you are using the word after, then you must use past perfect tense with the clause having the conjunction after. You see that in simple form, I am using the word after, and in complex form, I have also shown the word after. In simple form, the word after will be functioning as a preposition. We normally learned this rule from the rules of right form of verbs, that after any preposition, we use verb ing structure and this is that one. But the word after can also be used as a conjunction, and here I am showing this after as a conjunction. Let us see an example, then the complexities, the complications will be over. After getting myself attacked with coronavirus, I took a lot of rest. Here, this after is a preposition forming a prepositional phrase over here. So a prepositional phrase is a phrase beginning with a preposition and ending with a noun. Here, this phrase, after getting myself attacked with coronavirus, is a prepositional phrase as it begins with the preposition after and ends with the noun virus. And to make this sentence complex, we need to turn this prepositional phrase into a clause having the tense like past indefinite or past perfect with when or after. So let us use after at the beginning. So after, then the subject I. After I, then past tense of get is got. But after I got myself, but I told you after the word after, we need to use past perfect. So that will be had got. After I had got myself attacked with coronavirus, I took a lot of rest. That will be the complex form. If we use the word when, we can omit past perfect tenses and use past indefinite tense here. So that will be when I got myself attacked with coronavirus, I took a lot of rest. And this is the complex form of the sentence with the word when. We can use after to, as I said in the beginning of the sentence. The compound one will just have the conjunction and in the beginning, and the two clauses will be separated by this. And as I told you earlier, we can omit the subject of the second clause of the compound sentence if the subject of the second clause of the compound sentence is a repetition of the subject of the first clause of the compound sentence. So as this I is the repetition of this I, so I'm omitting this I from the second clause of the compound sentence. So it reads like, I got myself attacked with coronavirus and took a lot of rest. Okay, let us now move on to the exercises of Rule 10. The first one, I loved mathematics when I was at school, is in complex form, and I'm asking you to change this complex sentence to simple and compound. The second one over here, you can call me when you have finished this project, is in complex sentence, and you need to make this a simple and compound sentence. The third one, his dad left him when he was very young, is in complex form, and similar to the previous two practices, you need to make this a simple and compound sentence. The fourth, the boys will cut a good figure after they had learned everything, is in complex too, and please make this sentence simple and compound. After the girl had left the station hopelessly, the train arrived, is in complex form, and you're going to make it simple and compound. Okay, here are the practices on Rule 10. I hope you'll be solving these sentences. You'll be turning these sentences to the forms I have told you. I hope you'll be changing these sentences as guided by me here over here in this lecture, and keep the homework copy ready for your teacher when everything recedes to normal situation. When RUMC opens, you can show your homework copy to the class teacher, to the subject teacher, and certainly your subject teacher will check the homework copy and give marks or give you necessary guidance if any answer is incorrect. I hope you enjoyed the lecture with me. If not, you can let me know through the comments. I'll certainly read your comments below the lecture and give you feedback on them. Your feedbacks, your comments will certainly inspire me to make much more videos on the same topics or any other topic that you may need from me. All my dear students, here ends lecture 2 of changing a sentence from simple to complex and finally to compound. Thank you for your attention to my class. I hope I'll meet you soon in the third lecture on the same topic. Allah Hafiz. Stay at home, stay safe.